Are you ready to get down with the thickness? Because I sure am. Today, we're cooking up a coffee-rubbed Kansas City strip steak that's sure to get your mouth watering. Let's get into it. What's up everybody, James with JB Sous Vide here. I'm so glad to have you back this week. This week's video is not going to disappoint. If you're here for the first time, hit that subscribe button below and buckle up for some steaky goodness. Today, we're cooking up a really special cut from Porter Road. It's a 2.5-inch thick Kansas City strip steak. Big wow. This cut of meat is going to be really perfect for that shareable meal, or you don't have to share it. You do you. If you don't know, a Kansas City strip is a steak cut from the strip loin and it still has the bone attached. Don't worry if yours is not the same thickness as this. I'm going to give some recommendations later for your thickness. Like most of my steaks, we're going to start here with a long dry brine. Dry brining is the process of salting meat ahead of time. This is going to be especially important for really thick cuts of meat. You want to get a generous amount of salt on and give it time to absorb deep into the meat. I'm just going to put this on a rack and put it in the fridge overnight. If you don't have overnight, you definitely could get away with 4 hours in advance, maybe even 1 hour if it's a really thin cut. Alright y'all, water bath break. Let's talk time and temps for strips here. As you probably know, strips aren't as inherently flavorful as say a ribeye or as tender as a filet, but with sous vide and a good rub, we're going to get this meat tasting delicious. No matter what thickness, I like my strips at about 133. This, along with the thyme, gives me a tender product all the time. Speaking of time, when I cook a normal size strip of a thickness of 1 to 1.5 inches, I usually go for 4 hours. This is just as we mentioned before, a strip tends to be a little more chewier and it needs that extra time to break down that muscle. But with this 2.5-inch cut, we're going to need about 5 hours to get this strip up to the internal temperature of 133. After that, we're going to go a little bit longer just to ensure that we get the tenderness that we want. In total, I'm going to go for 8 hours. A great steak needs a great rub, so today we're breaking out one of the favorites, the coffee rub. Have you ever tried coffee rub on a steak before? Leave me a comment below about what you think of it and if you've tried it before. And since this steak is going to be such a special cut, we're going to throw in our herb butter here as well. We're going to take 1 stick of softened butter, pinch of pepper, pinch of salt, the juice of a small lime, zest of that lime, 1 garlic clove. We're going to chop up 1 tablespoon each of fresh cilantro and parsley. And we're going to combine. Once combined, we're going to dump our butter out onto some food wrap and shape it into a log. We'll put this in the fridge for at least an hour to firm up before we use it. Steaks are out of the bath now. Time to apply that rub and move on to the sear. A steak this good has to be kissed by some fire. So we're firing up the grill to get that nice char. Once it's ripping hot, we're going to get both sides charred up with 1 to 2 minutes aside. After she comes off, go ahead and throw that herb butter on and get it all melty. Alright y'all, let's see how we did here. Look at that. You saw it during the cutting, but look at that perfect edge to edge there. That's a tender strip. Okay, let me see if I can put this into words for those of you who have never had a coffee rub before. I love coffee rubs. It's not really a coffee flavor. It just has this really earthy taste that enhances the beefy flavor of the meat. It also gives a great char on that grill. The Sous Vide did a great job with this strip. Perfect medium rare, and it wasn't chewy like strips tend to be. Remember, if you have some extra time, it's always good to give those strips that little bit extra. Alright y'all, if you got something out of that video, hit that like button below. Go check out one of the other videos on the channel, and we'll see you next week. Catch you later.